Hey, good morning and welcome back to the Y Project. Today we are here with Mrs. Graham. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us this morning.
I'm so
I,
happy to be invited. Thank you.
yeah, of course. I think that this is episode 25, if I
Wow.
recall right. So that's pretty awesome. I'm excited.
That's wonderful, Emily. You're touching so many people by doing this. That's so great.
Well, thank you. It's been fun and really refreshing to hear people's stories because we don't get to really talk about stuff like this during school, which is it's been a cool part of the closure for sure.
Yes. Yes. What did that
So
happen?
you teach health, right, and nutrition and wellness, and you've taught at Baker for how long?
I started in '87, so
Okay.
I don't know, a long time.
I don't know how many years that is either. 30 something.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Less than Mr. Sutton.
Well, that's so cool. Tell us about how you got into teaching and kind of what you love about Baker and why you teach there.
Okay. So my quick story is that I grew up in Vancouver, Washington. I won the lottery as far as having the best parents in the world. I had parents that were both teachers, super kid centered. We had a wonderful life. My dad was my high school counselor, but I was in a really big high school. So think of like Mr. Marston being your dad, and you have to go to school every day and at home and live with your dad. And there's just boundaries because my dad would know everything about all my friends, what we were up to, what we were doing, and that had positive and negative results for sure. And as I was growing up and living this idealistic childhood, I realized I thought it was really stupid that my parents went to school when other people's adult parents went to work. And my parents always said, "Well, we have school tomorrow," and I thought, "Oh, you guys, you're older, you should be going to work, not school." And so I was an athlete. I totally played basketball. I was on the athletic track and stuff, and I did not want to be a teacher. I never thought I would be a teacher growing up as a kid because I thought my parents do it. They do it incredibly well. How could I compete with that? And so also in my high school career, I would take my summers and I would go away from my family and do, I was in a drum and bugle corps, so I'd travel with them for a couple summers. Then I started working at this camp that sent me up to the Olympic Peninsula every summer. And that was really cool because I really kind of found my identity in those situations. And so I decided I was going to be a sociologist. And what it is about sociology that fascinated me was just kind of studying why people do the things that they do. And I just was kind of really interested in behavior and why people did that. And so then I went up to Alaska. Actually, after I graduated high school, all my friends went off to college, and I thought, I'm going to be really independent, and I'm going to go to Alaska, and I'm going to process crab and earn a bunch of money so I can pay for college. So my parents weren't very happy. They thought I was being a rebel because I should have gone to college, but I didn't. And I went up to Alaska, slowest crab run in 31 years. And so I took my camera out and did a lot of hiking and just thought about a lot of things. And I thought, well, going to school every day isn't that bad of an idea. And I could study kids and behaviors and why people do things and motivation. And so I thought, I'm going to be a counselor. But then I'm like, well, I can't do what my dad did because that's. So I decided I wanted to teach classes that were about making really good life choices. So health, and family and consumer science and independent living and culinary arts. All those classes kind of help set a great foundation for you springboarding into the best life you can live. So that's why I chose the field I did, and that's how I ended up out in this, and that's what motivates me, and it's relationships with people. It's all about helping people discover who they are and being interested in people and fascinated with how people end up where they end up and why. And I love watching teenagers figure out who they are, because I think that's fascinating. And I had a really cool experience when I got to do it. It wasn't easy. It was painful along the way, but you get out of it and then you have this great opportunity to go forth and live your best life possible. So that's my story in a nutshell.
That's so cool. And what about what motivates you about Mount Baker? Like, you've worked here for so long, and I love that. And what is it about Baker that you love?
Okay, so that is so interesting. I'd never heard of Mount Baker before I got this job. In fact, I started in Baker in like the teacher before me was pregnant and had a baby. So I was totally not in, I didn't know about this part of the state. So I started in March of 1987. And then the next year, the teacher took a leave of absence. So it was a leave replacement. And then she decided not to come back. But when I moved to Baker, or when I started here, they had the prom at the log showgrounds. And I thought, oh my God, it kind of scared me, because I was like, all I could think of was like Footloose and just kids in tennis shoes and prom dresses dancing out in the mud. I just had this vision. I didn't know what the log showgrounds were. Also, I thought it was really weird that there weren't streets and blocks. Like I've always been raised in a city and everything's been on a grid. But out here, you're 5 miles past the Welcome store or whatever, it's just, I was not used to that. So that took me a long time to wrap my brain around. But immediately when I started at Baker, I fell in love with the people here and its culture, because Mount Baker has its own unique culture. And it's truly different. And I had a lot of friends in college that we were, staying in touch with, and we'd visit, and some of them were off doing teaching and things. And I just, listening to their stories in their big inner city schools and things, I was just realizing how rich our experience was, because we didn't have a lot of the issues that yet as to what some of my other teaching friends were talking about. So I really felt like you could connect at a real level, a real basic level. And what I love about Baker is that we all appreciate each other for who we are as people. There isn't a hierarchy. We all just, I think, respect each other from where we're at, and then just try to help each other. And that's what I really, really appreciate about our culture at Mount Baker, and that there's this huge sense of caring that you don't find everywhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. I love, especially it's like so diverse. Like every person is so different. Like you wouldn't necessarily think that we would all get together and work well together, but we do, and that's
right. And how we pull that off is wonderful. I don't know how we do it quite, but it's fascinating to watch it happen. And it's because we care about each other. But we can be very diverse and very different. You're exactly right. But it doesn't matter if someone disagrees with me and politically or whatever. It doesn't matter, because it's just, we all care about each other.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I love.
A little bit of like Cheaper by the Dozen, or like one of those kind of movies.
Exactly. Yeah. So then I found my soulmate here and married him and raised our kids together. He had 4 kids, and so we've been a family, and now we're totally integrated here in this community. So I think it's just a really amazing thing. I do one inspirational thing that I recommend to all of us. I think everybody has to have their own passion or their own focus, and if I need okay, my guess, my words of wisdom for taking care of yourself is to never stay so goal oriented that you miss opportunities that are out there that you didn't think about. So for example, in the year 2000, I got the opportunity to ride my bike around the world with a big group. And I'd always done during my summers, I would go on bike tours and go across America. And through that, I heard about, my husband and I, Dennis, heard about this trip called Odyssey 2000 around the world. And we decided we were gonna go on that trip. And so I took a 2-year leave of absence from working at Mount Baker and went on the trip and then came back. And I think loving where you live is great, but also learning about the outside world is great too. It gives you lots of just different perspective. And we are so lucky here in Northern Washington, because here is the best place to come home to. But you gotta go away every once in a while to realize how amazing it is to come back here, because it really helps you appreciate everything with a new set of eyes. And so super grateful for living in the best area in the world. Really, really lucky.
Yeah. I love what you said about not being so focused on your goal that you miss out opportunities, because I know that I've definitely had times where I've been like, okay, this is what I'm doing. And then like something will come up, and sometimes I've said no and I regret that. And then the times that I've said yes, it's been like the best experience, and some of the times where I've learned the most things about myself and about others, and grown the most. So that's, I need to lock that advice in my brain.
Yeah, and it's important because you think, oh, I could never do that. But trusting yourself that maybe you can, and maybe it isn't a right time for you to do something different. Maybe if you're on your college track, you should probably stay in college, get your degree done. Then, whatever, but things that come along, don't be so narrow-minded that you don't take advantage of them, because some of the best gifts are things you don't know are coming your way. Because I'm an ultimate planner. I'm a pretty planned person in general. And so to think I could leave Mount Baker for a little bit was scary, and to leave, but we did it, and it makes me appreciate Mount Baker way more than I think if I would have just stayed and been a grumpy old teacher that doesn't like smile at kids, and I don't feel like kids can approach me too, because that's super important. If the day that comes is the day that I can't do my job anymore, for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Ms. Graham, and thank you for being at Baker and helping write the legacy. That's awesome.
Well, thanks, Emily. This has been great, and I miss everybody, and I can't wait till we're together again, for sure.
Same. All right. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye, Mount Baker. Bye.